Cruise brochures and websites list the obvious things included in our cruise fares, but they don't list many freebies and free stuff I've discovered that you and I can get on a cruise if we simply ask for it or do something very simple. I want you to know about all of them, and I guarantee no matter how often you cruise, there will be some you have no idea about. If you're new here, welcome aboard. By the way, I'm Gary Bembridge, and it's my goal to make it fun and easy to discover, plan and enjoy unforgettable cruise vacations. So let's go get some free stuff. Many cruise lines like Oceania that I was just on let me collect points every time that I take part in activities, things like name the tune, trivia quizzes, deck games, table tennis, all sorts of other activities. Now on Oceania, it's called Big O points. And for every activity that I take part in, I can collect points. All of the events are highlighted in the daily program with a particular logo. Then I redeem the points at the end of the cruise for gifts and merchandise, things like key rings, caps, t-shirts and so on. Now many bigger cruise ships, they will run even bigger opportunities. They'll run audience participation shows like a Mr. and Mrs. Belly flop competitions, passenger talent shows, and you'll get gifts or bottles of champagne for either taking part or for winning. Again, free stuff. On a recent Virgin Voyages cruise, for example, we could take part in an activity where we made and decorated seahorses. We then raced them, and there were vouchers to redeem on board for merchandise. Free stuff. Another easy way to get gifts is by going to the shopping advisor talks on board. These talks are most common on Alaskan and Caribbean itineraries. The line brings on board shopping advisors, they give talks, and they push all sorts of products and stores within the various ports you're calling on. Now, to incentivize people like you and me to come to the talks, they almost always give away gifts like jewelry charms, t-shirts, caps, gift certificates, and so on. Also, really importantly, when I get off in those ports where they've been talking about them, again, mostly in the Alaska and Caribbean regions, I look out for stores offering similar gifts and freebies simply by calling in. It's important to note, however, that these stores tend to be those promoted by shopping advisors, and you'll find there things like Effie, Diamonds International, Del Sol, color changing shops, those kind of chains you find everywhere. I also, by the way, can often get key amenities that I've forgotten to pack, like combs, razors, toothbrushes. You can get them for free from guest services or by asking your cabin steward. Now, some lines don't offer them and they'll send me off to their onboard store, but many cruise lines will offer you those free amenities. Also, by the way, at guest services, I can usually get for free postcards, pens, stationery, and used packs of cards. In the casino, they only use packs of cards a very limited amount of times, and then those cards are normally available for guests like you and me. You can get them free via guest services or through the casino. Many of them are branded with the cruise line logo, so they are especially cool free things to have. Now, in terms of higher value gifts and treats, the thing that I really like is raffles, and there's two raffles that I always focus on and do. On embarkation day, the spa, they normally hold a raffle. It's to encourage us to go and tour the spa and of course get a bit of a sales pitch. I get a raffle ticket and I make sure I'm back at the draw time, usually around a sail away time, because you have to be there to win. Most people forget, so you have quite a high chance of winning. In fact, I've won free massages and free treatments on Seabourn and Holland America before, so that's a really great thing to do. Also, when I'm in the spa, they often give short sample massages or treatments to encourage bookings, another great little freebie. The other venue that does great raffles are the on-board shops, particularly if they're launching something new on a cruise, like merchandise or a jewelry line. Go to the launch event if they have a raffle. I've never won one of those raffles yet, but they can give away charms, earrings, ship-branded merchandise, and much higher value prizes. One area to get more freebies, which you probably are going to argue you don't really need more of, is food. But there is something that's really important, so watch out for that. I get asked a lot about things about food, so I'm going to give those from the slightly more absurd to some really interesting ones. If you do want more food, remember you can dine at multiple venues, one after the other. So if for some crazy reason you could decide to eat in the main dining room, then go to the buffet, then order room service all in one evening. Now, I'm not sure you want to do that, but it is something you could do. But more importantly, foodie events like on Azamara chocolate buffets, Seabourn champagne and caviar sailaways, or their offices on deck, or the Oceania Grand Event brunch, or white parties, all those kind of special foodie events are included in the fare. Now, many cruise lines, you can order more than one main course in the main dining room. I am seeing some cruise lines starting to charge a surcharge, so check the menu. And if it makes no mention of a surcharge, it's almost certain that you can order more than one main course. What I do is, if there are two main course dishes that I really want and I can't make up my mind, then I don't. I simply ask if I can have smaller portions of both of those things, and that will usually incur no upcharge at all. If you're an ice cream fan, don't assume your only option is the extra charge gelato or ice cream shop on board. You'll normally find tucked away in the Lido buffet or somewhere on the pool deck, you can almost always get traditional soft serve ice cream for free. So ask if there's any free ice cream options. Don't just automatically, you have to spend your money at the gelato shops. They are pretty expensive in my opinion. Now, whilst those food ideas seem a bit trivial, there are a couple of really important tips when it comes to free things and food. And this is especially important if you have any dietary issues or perhaps you're a fussy eater. Now, on many lines, you can go off menu. Now, while more upscale lines and venues like, say, Cunard Queen's Grill, they can let you go completely off menu. You can order anything you want. So when I've been in Queen's Grill and I'd say I wanted a roast chicken dinner one night, I could have that. I just had to ask for it at lunchtime. I could have anything that I wanted. But importantly, quite a few lines have allowed me to go off menu, not when it's as upscale as that. And it's particularly if I want something that perhaps is on the lunch menu or is on one of the other restaurants, but not on the menu in my restaurant. Most lines also have standard dishes available, which may or may not be on the menu, things like steak, chicken, or salmon, so you don't get charged to have those. If you're vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or have any other dietary needs or quirks, talk to the maitre d' at the very beginning of the cruise. They will work with you on options. If, for example, you find on your cruise line there's only one vegan or vegetarian option is the norm, ask, because often I've found for no extra charge, they will plan and work with you to have other choices. The other thing which I love as a freebie is afternoon tea. I'm a massive, big fan of afternoon tea. Now, some lines have a free one and a paid for one. So for example, on P&O Cruises and on Princess, they often have a free one in the main dining room and a fancier one either in the restaurant or the lobby, which you pay for. So make sure that you go for the free afternoon tea, but seriously have afternoon tea. It's a great freebie. I often see people in the morning heading up to the Lido to get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and heading back to their cabin. If room service is free, I use that because I get a much better quality cup of tea or coffee, and it means I don't have to head all the way up to the Lido and back. This all leads me on to the next area of drink. There's a lot of opportunities on cruises for free drinks. Now, if you want alcoholic drinks, there's at least 5 or 6 key places I've found where you can get yourself some free drinks. Number 1, go to the captain's welcome and farewell parties, or if there's any formal or gala night receptions. 2, if you're invited to go on a hosted table by an officer or one of the entertainment team or one of the crew, the drinks and wine will be covered by them. 3, if you're a member of the cruise line loyalty club, they will almost always host a cocktail party with free drinks. 4thly, there's usually free champagne at the art auctions. You don't have to buy art, but you'll get free champagne. 5thly, the onboard shops, they usually have a drinks event at those launch events I was talking about with the raffle earlier. So that's another great opportunity. And 6thly, the Cruise Critic Meet and Mingle events. Now, you have to sign up these before the cruise on the Cruise Critic website. They always have free drinks and free snacks. You can always get free tea, free coffee, free juices, iced tea in the Lido buffet. That's normally available 24 hours of the day without any need to pay at all. I don't always feel that I need to go to that premium specialty coffee shop, particularly if I don't have a drinks package. I will go up there. Now, the other thing, although not everyone's keen on that, is the water on board ships is fine to drink. But even better nowadays, because cruise lines are accelerating their move away from single-use plastic water bottles, they're starting to install free refillable water stations with much better tasting water than you're going to get from your bathroom tap. On that Oceania cruise I was referring to earlier, they actually gave us refillable bottles to use. But I always take a refillable water bottle along with me on a cruise now to make sure that I can get good quality drinking water for free. I don't have to buy water to take out on tour or even when I'm around the ship, for example. A really great way I found to get freebies is when I'm cruising during a life event, a birthday, an anniversary, or your honeymoon. Make sure that the cruise line knows that you're going to be traveling during that time. Make sure your travel agent lets them know, and make sure that your cabin steward knows. We were upgraded, for example, to a penthouse suite on a Queen Mary 2 transatlantic on my honeymoon. The travel agent told Cunard and asked if they could do anything, and it came up trumps. Tell the restaurant you're dining in on your birthday or your anniversary night, because they almost certainly will make a fuss with a cake or some kind of fancy dessert, or maybe even a glass of something. Another slightly strange freebie area, and with some watch out, is around the area of medication and medical treatment. If you're feeling seasick, cruise lines will give you free seasick medication. If you have stomach upsets, you can also get free medical attention and medication. If you have COVID symptoms, the same. However, you may find yourself being quarantined if the stomach upset is thought to be norovirus, as I discovered, or of course, if you do have COVID. The other thing that I see as an important free thing to get by asking is improving and even upgrading my cabin. If I find the bed too soft, too hard, I don't like the pillows, I find the duvet too thick, too thin, I get too cold, too warm, I always speak to the cabin steward. There are many things that they can do, and it won't cost you anything. They can bring a mattress protector to make the bed softer, for example. I'm obsessed with feather pillows. I find I get headaches if I use others, so I always ask for a feather pillow. And even on cruise lines which don't have any sort of fancy pillow concierge services, they'll normally track down that for me. So if there's anything in your cabin that falls short, bear in mind they can sort it out, and it's not going to cost you anything. Now, if I have genuine issues with my cabin, like some really bad noise that's coming from something, or something like the air conditioning is not working properly, I don't just live with it, I raise it with my cabin steward. When they couldn't get it fixed, I found they escalated to their supervisor, they checked the problem, they escalated to the hotel director, and quite a few times I've received a free upgrade. There's been a genuine problem that everyone agrees is an issue. One area I personally have fallen short in the past was by being too timid to ask for what free benefits I'm actually entitled to. A really good example is loyalty benefits. You know, I've never been handed a list of what I'm entitled to when I get on a cruise. So I try and check before I go on a cruise, or even easier, what I do is all cruise lines have somebody allocated to look after their loyalty club passengers on board. So I simply go to them and ask them what benefits, perks, or freebies I can get on this particular cruise based on my status level. On a recent cruise, it included discounts in shops, but I also discovered I could get free specialty dining, a tote bag, some laundry, and so on. Things I hadn't realized I was able to have, and they were completely and utterly free. If I'd splashed out for a high-grade cabin like a mini suite or a suite, I know there are many perks and freebies, but again, there's no list supplied on boarding, there's no list in your cabin. So again, I try and check online, I ask my agent, but what I do is when I get on board, I ask the cabin steward, or if they have one, a butler, what am I entitled to? What are the freebies? What are the perks? I discovered things like I could order a range of canapes every day. I could ask for certain premium drinks. I could have a cocktail party with snacks in my cabin for free. I could dine in any restaurant I wanted to on any day for no charge, and so on. A really simple thing to do is, because cruise lines want us to do their end of the cruise questionnaire whilst we're still on board, they now have introduced prize draws on most cruises for everyone who does it on board. So for example, on Oceania recently, they were offering $300 onboard credit as a draw prize for anyone that had filled out the end of the cruise questionnaire. Now, if you want to know more things that smart cruisers always do on a cruise to get more and elevate their cruise, watch this video of 7 things they always do, starting with the one thing that absolutely transformed cruising for me forever. See you over there.